But let's be honest, we're so crazy that we have a little munchkin that probably never had sex giving us advice on sex. What's wrong with this picture? You know? It's unbelievable. So, but get real with your fantasies, and I'm being Dr. Ruth here a little bit. You know, so go ahead and masturbate to that fantasy, and then let it be okay to have it. Everything is good under the sun, except if you make it wrong.
Oh, and how do we make it wrong again?
We judge it as, oh, this is bad, I got to hide it, this is terrible, I want to be with 7 women, I want to have 3 guys, I want to do this, I want to dress up this way. It's all okay. I want to eat food while I'm doing it. I don't know, people have all kinds of fetishes. We have all kinds of stuff, you know? Go for it. None of it is wrong. We're meant to love the whole body. If you want to heal yourself of this stuff, because just like a little kid, if someone says, hi, Johnny, you can have everything in the kitchen, but don't touch the cookie jar, right? Then what does little Johnny do? He goes, okay, and for the next 42 hours, he's obsessed with going to the cookie jar, you know? That's how we work. So if you have a sexual fantasy, oh, this is wrong, I can't ever think about it and dwell on it, guess what? For the next 49 years of your life, all you're going to dwell about is that sexual fantasy. So the best way to deal with it, write it out. Masturbate it out, enjoy it, fulfill it. And let me tell you, you're going to complete it and you're going to move on. And the people that control us, that program us, they know this. They know this. And that's why they make these things wrong. Now, I'm not talking about sadism and killing people during sexual rituals, which is exactly what the top people in the Illuminati and the New World Order do, which is very interesting. But the normal natural impulse of us, normal humans, not the reptilian weirdo vampire suckers that run the planet at the moment, are us normal humans. We're not going to have that fantasy. We're not going to have the... Yeah. Yeah, hold that thought there, please, Tobias. We're going to take a short break. We'll pick this back on the other side. Truth Brigade Radio. Listening to Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you want to join us for the text chat, that's over at truthbrigade.com. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to give us a call at 512-879-3805. Wow, Tobias, it looks like everyone in the chat room had to go take a cold shower here. You know, I just have to, I love you. You just tell it like it is, and that's just a fact. So if you don't like it, go take a cold shower. And, we have to hear these things. We do, and we're craving it. And it's just amazing how you brought up the media. Everything has been so twisted around to where we hate ourselves, and we're literally torching ourselves by not understanding these things or talking about these things. So if you can kind of elaborate a little bit more about what you were saying about the media. Yeah, and I wanted to say, I'm pushing it here some tonight, and obviously it's controversial. This is the deepest topic on the planet. Sex is where everyone's neutron bombs go off, and then if you add God to the mix, you're guaranteed to set it off. So I understand that.
No, you're good to go. It's all good.
So, the media is so obvious. I joke about this, but like the poor, women have a collective self-image hatred, problem here, because most men will say, look, I love you. Don't worry about that. I like you with some extra softness on you. Most men are like that, to be honest. This whole obsession with an anorexic look is absolutely not coming from the male. Just a few males. Just like there's just a few people that run the planet, if you're the new Illuminati New Order thing, there's just a few males that propagate that horrible anorexic look with women. And by the way, who are the men that set the standards for beauty for women? They are gay men in New York and L.A., and so if you women want to be attractive to real men and not gay men, don't look at the fashion shows.
Very good advice. I mean, I'm serious. We're always looking at the magazines or the TV guide or the billboards, and then, I'll speak for myself. I'm a woman. We go home and criticize ourselves. Oh, my gosh, I have these scars here, and my nose is crooked, and my hair's not that shiny, and my butt's big, and so we, talk ourselves right out of it.
Right, and what that has to do with a self-image, self-hatred, self-acceptance issue for many, many women. And the man in your life will sit there and he just feels love for you and goes, I love you and you're beautiful to me. But you women often cannot receive his love. Because you haven't accepted yourself, because you're comparing yourself to some ridiculous image. And the fact is that most men are not attracted to that at all. That's the reality of it. 95% of men are not attracted to, I'm not going to name names, and God bless her, she's a sweetie pie, but what was her name? There was a mole and...
Cindy Crawford.
Yeah, Dennis Leary used to have a thing about it. She's a sweetheart woman, beautiful, like a good heart, she feels really nice, but that's not a voluptuous woman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's us, basically. It's us women that are hating ourselves, not our partner or lover.
Exactly. And most men out there are going, "Yay! Finally, someone said it." Yeah. And by the way, I'm not picking on any. There's all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and nothing wrong with Cindy Crawford. How's that for a change? There's nothing wrong with looking that way.
Yeah.
And, it's all good. It's all good. In the original Garden of Eden, we were short and pudgy, tall and skinny, and everything in between, and we all loved it. And we were just exploring. We're just exploring here. We're just trying different things.
Well, Tobias, I could talk to you all night, but we do have a couple callers on the line, so I'm going to try not to be so selfish. We have Russ on the line. In fact, he wanted to talk to you so bad he called in a week early. How you doing tonight, Russ?
I see. Well, I don't, it's really embarrassing to come online after a premature ejaculation, but, thank God for second chances. Thanks for
in front of everyone. Oh, goodness.
Well,
I'm sorry.
So many areas.
Bad.
Well, no, it was, as is often, it was a misunderstanding. Yes, I did mention that this week we would have it, but I really wanted to, porn as such a dampener, but I don't want to dampen tonight's show with last week's topic either. This week, Tobias, I could just go on, and I don't want to hear myself rattle. I do have a question for you. How, in your studies, in your opinion, and your understanding, how should the likely result of a sexual union be treated before sex is entered into children?
Okay. I'm not sure I got the question, but what I got to say is this. What came to say is this. When we are awake human beings, and now we're going to take it to another level, there are no automatic pregnancies just because you have full sexual intercourse and orgasm inside a woman. That is not the inevitable result, because in a conscious, awake human, both the woman and the man, notice the theme here, we're always equal and we always have equal choice, both the woman and the man can decide to say, no, I do not wish to create a pregnancy at this time. The man can have conscious control of the intention of the sperm. And the woman can have conscious control of the intention for implantation and reception or not. And the fact that we have forgotten this teaching just shows how much we have been disconnected from our natural godlike state. Again, Jesus says, you are God. So there is no inevitable unconscious pregnancy.
Well, does that not assume that the two people we're talking about then know themselves and are aware of what you just said, and then then the random possibility occurs if that knowledge doesn't exist?
That's right. And most of us are disconnected, aren't we not? We have a conscious and a subconscious. We're aware of certain parts of ourselves, but then there's other parts we're not in touch with. You understand? We're not aware of that part of myself. There's other parts of us acting out. And, for example, I'll give you one, like a very successful macho type A, what do they call it, alpha male personality. I'm using, these are made-up things, I know, but we can relate to it. Let's say an alpha male out there being successful in the world, millions of dollars, running whatever. Often they will have a gay son. And the reason why is because in a way the male inside themselves has pushed down their own heart, their own softness, their own flamboyance, their own playfulness in order to become that alpha male in the world, right? And so that energy goes out unconsciously during orgasm and implants his wife, and it becomes an actual other being that gets born to them. This is just one of 1,000 examples. There are no rules here. I'm trying to expand how when we do it unconsciously is when we have unwanted pregnancies. We have, in a sense, reflections and often wake-up calls of where we were unconscious, and that would be one example of it. And again, there's no hard and fast rules, and this is a big, big awakening for humans at this point.
All right, well, Russ, do you have any other questions or comments tonight?
Well, just a comment. Knowing the show was coming up, I did a lot of reading, and then in studying myself. And somebody had pointed out a couple of things that, in the 60s we had the sexual revolution. We've had 3 decades to look at it. All I would say is anything that we choose to do, we ought to tamper with what we've seen and really tackle that first edit, get to know ourselves. Thank you so much, Tobias, for being here tonight and tackling those forbidden topics. And I look forward to you joining us on a regular basis. Thanks again. Love you.
Thank you, Russ. And I wanted to say, Christie, that some people will blame the sexual revolution for taking the lid off and creating all the problems. But really all it did was take the lid off so the problems were coming out for us to look at so we can heal them. The problems were there all the time. They were just underground and better repressed. And at this time on Earth, we are going through the cleaning. When you open Pandora's box, all those little things fly out, and you got to deal with them. It's like that guy, they say in the South, when you first started cleaning your pond in the back 40, right, you were going to clean the pond. It looked so peaceful on top, right, the pond. And you start draining the pond because you've been throwing your old refrigerators in it all those years. And then you realize once you drain the pond, there's 10 alligators down there at the bottom, too. So the saying comes, when you first started draining the pond, you didn't realize you'd be up to your ass in alligators, right? So So right now, in a sense, collectively, we're up to our butts in alligators. We're seeing all these bad things surfacing on the planet. This is the revealing, the Armageddon, the apocalypse. Apocalypse means the full divine revelation. So we're being forced to deal with all this stuff inside us. That was there before, but the way we dealt with it before was we just went to war. We're still doing it. Hopefully we won't do World War III. Hopefully we've let enough of this stuff detox through us that we won't go through with a big World War III.
Yes, make love, not war. Tobias, we have another caller on the line. Area code 928. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Christie. And hi, Tobias. This is Brighton from Sedona.
Hi, Brighton. How you doing tonight?
Lovely, thank you. I wanted to address with Tobias, I have so many friends that I've moved from L.A. to Sedona, but so many friends back in L.A. that have worked at, whether it's a legal brothel or in some way, shape, or form, definitely got involved in the sex industry. And absolutely no judgment. I think it's, when done correctly, it's like a temple goddess healing. But the societal judgments on it, what do you have to say to people that are really against that section of society? Because I often think that if you have judgment on it, it means that you're hiding some dark secret like you were talking about. So many men that I know and have met go to brothels and go to places to act out their sexual fantasy because they can't or won't act them out with their partner.
Right.
So how do you, what's that?
No, exactly. This is a perfect reflection. There's always a perfect reflection of. In other words, we cannot undo the natural order of things. It is as it is. It was created perfectly, right? And so this is a reflection of the schism inside us, that Madonna whore complex, you know, or which is so obvious, you know.